Support me by supporting the store mushroomvoice.com. Let's talk about Amanita, the heart-centered mushroom, and all of the ways that Amanita works on the heart. Let's talk about heartache and heartbreak. So I am going through a divorce from my 17-year marriage, and if you want to know about that, I uploaded a video about it, about the north wind. It's been 3 months since he asked for a divorce, and one of the very first things I did is I took Amanita to deal with it. And I had about 5 or 6 days before I had to leave to go to Europe for a month to film the documentary, hold ceremony, and my predominant emotion is panic and anxiety. And I had to deal with the fear, the grieving, the confusion, the loss, all of it. So the very first thing I did is I did the 3-hour boil because it was the quickest way to get something. You lose a lot of your actives in that method. You convert the most, the quickest, but you have a loss of actives. So I wound up taking a lot and having a really high dose experience. I took vegan soma, which I have a video on how to make vegan soma. It is not on YouTube, clearly because of censorship. It's at amanitadreamer.net, and I have all my recipes there. So I have my vegan soma, and I'm about to use it again today. And I also used the Viking mead, which I have a video here about the berserkers if you want to watch that, but I don't give the recipe. That is also at amanitadreamer.net. And now that bottle is empty. So my order was, on the very first day, I did the 3-hour boil, took all of that. I had an experience that I want to share with you. I just want to tell you what I did. The second day I had the vegan soma. The third day, fourth day, fifth day, I worked on the mead, the bottle of mead that I had. What I can tell you is all of those are full muscimol conversions, and I'm going to caution you right now. Do not start your experience with this mushroom with a full conversion for many reasons. I haven't made a video about that as of the making of this video, but it is quickly behind the other list of videos I'm going to be making here in 2022. And that will either be here or amanitadreamer.net or both, depending on censorship and how I'm feeling about it. But please, do not start with a full muscimol. I've been doing this for 4 years, so I know what I'm doing. I'm experienced. I can handle very high doses of muscimol. So here's what happened, and here's what I learned about Amanita and emotional pain, and it being the heart-centered mushroom, and the mushroom that we all need to use to go to when we are dealing with heartache, heartbreak, and matters of the heart. Not only for love of the self, and compassion, and boundary setting because we love ourselves or our ego, and growing it because we want to be here to do things. This mushroom supports us as beings on earth, moving through our life experience through the heart. So that would make sense then that it would also support us in times of heartache and heartbreak. Here's what I discovered about emotional pain. You know how we know that physical pain is not simple and that we don't fully understand how it works, and we're not really sure how all of the painkillers work. So when you take a painkiller that runs through the opiate pathways, we have an idea of how that works and what's going on in the neurons and in those gaps between them and the neurotransmitters, and where these opiates are locking in and in what receptors. And then we have the natural one that starts with a K that I'm not going to say because of censorship. And we don't know exactly how it works. Of course, any of these living organisms are going to have lots of depth and abilities that science doesn't fully understand yet. But we know that when you are put to sleep for surgery, that they have to paralyze you, so there's a paralytic agent. But then we're not fully sure that just because we stop pain at the levels of the neurons being able to send a pain signal, there's also other parts of pain. So I had surgery on my hand. One of the things that happened during surgery is I woke up. I was awake for, I don't know, it's hard to clock time. I couldn't move because of the paralytic agent, but also I could feel all the pain, but also I didn't care about it. And that was so interesting to me, that my body could just feel this pain, this searing pain in my hand and what they're doing to my hand. And I could not care about it at all. And I was more interested in what I couldn't see, what I could hear, what people were talking about, and noticing the fact that I was in pain. I didn't care. I wasn't in distress over it. There's this pain signal going on. And to me, it was just like any other signal in my body, like hunger or thirst. I really couldn't care less about it. I've never forgotten that perception of pain. And I tell you this to tell you this. If it's true for the physical body, I'm learning in my life, it's not much different for our emotional body. And that we have depression to let us know something is wrong and to get our attention. We have anxiety and panic attacks to get our attention, get us to pay attention to things. And I've learned through this experience and through Amanita that our perception of pain, even emotional pain, emotional shock, betrayal, loss, confusion, fear, all of it, is also processed on a lot of different levels. And here's what I've learned. I did Amanita on days 1 through 5. And through those experiences, waking up each day, I started to feel for the first time in my life that my pain wasn't just this all over sense of loss, right? So I have the fear of the unknown, fear of my future, fear of what this is going to mean for the rest of my life, the loss and confusion and, oh my God, he's my best friend. It's been 17 years. Like, what about Christmas? What about next year? Am I going to, grow old alone without him? And that's weird because all my life I've always known that we would grow old together. Like, what does that mean? And who's moving where, and finances. And so there was terror and shock and fear and confusion. And then there's just pure sadness, right? By the time I got on an airplane to leave, I was still in a lot of pain, but it had localized into my heart. And then I just had all the panic attacks because that's what my body does. I have the story of my high dose psilocybin trip, which I did a weekend to being gone to deal with the panic. And it was amazingly effective at stopping the panic attacks so I could focus and work. And what that did, continuing to use Amanita in tincture form without the panic, was I really started to understand where the sadness is kept and the full body experiences of loss. Our body, our cells keep a record. There's that book, The Body Keeps the Score, but that trauma, pain, loss, it's held in different places in our body, not just where we feel the emotion. Because you can feel disgust or anger in your stomach, but you can also then feel heartache and sadness up in your heart and in your chest. And sometimes if it's really bad, you can't breathe and you can feel it in your lungs. And then sometimes when you feel like you can't express yourself, and you'll feel that in your throat. So there's different areas where we feel different emotions. And it would make sense that sadness and loss would be right here in the chest. Well, I can tell you in the past, when I've lost jobs or lost relationships and had to go through really traumatic and devastating losses in my life, I felt this overall heaviness, this overall weight in my body of just, I can't move. It was depression combined with sadness, combined with shock, combined with fear. And it was just this whole body dump, this just entire body feeling of not being able to move or do anything or function. And Amanita changed all that. Because now what I can tell you is I'm no longer having the panic. Amanita took care of that. All I feel now is this sadness in the middle of my chest. I feel my heart now. I'm acutely aware of the grieving. I'm 3 months now and it hurts just the same right here. But it's pure sadness and pure grieving. I can be happy. I can work. I can make this video. I can make stuff for my store, cook, bake. I can sit in joy right beside the grieving. And I've never been able to do that before. It's bizarre to be in this much pain and sadness and have it localized to my heart and also be able to function and live in the world and breathe and think and do and be excited about the holidays, terrified of the holidays, sad about the holidays. And they are two different emotions, the sadness about the holidays and the joy and the looking forward to it. And I'm already wrapping Christmas presents and baking and looking forward to spending it with my daughter and my son. Like, how can both of these things be happening simultaneously? It's foreign, it's new, and I believe that this is what entheogens can teach us. There is a world of understanding about loss and pain and feelings, about where they're located in our bodies. And I believe our ancestors have always known it. And it's how we as a species have been able to endure devastating losses and still function, because there's a lot of work to be done to be alive and to be human. But also, I don't think we were ever meant to suffer gravely and deeply and unfunctionally because of things like people choosing to not be in our lives anymore, or deaths. That it's not supposed to be devastating and make us non-functional. That's why we have these medicines and these beautiful entheogens to teach us and help clear the way and lighten our load and ease the pain. It's not supposed to be that hard. And here I am talking to you 3 months into a divorce. We just finished negotiating it a week ago and sent it off to the attorney. It was horrible. It was awful. It was sad. It's been traumatizing. And yet, I've never suffered this little at such a devastating loss, and at the same time felt the sadness so acutely, so deeply, and so profoundly, and cried every day from my heart in a very pure way. This is the healthiest way that I've ever experienced something like this. And I believe that Amanita is here to show us the way through heartbreak, heartache, loss, pain, sadness, grieving, but also still loving ourselves and our life experience, and not identifying with that deeply, with it not meaning a loss of our sense of self or our identity forward or our sense of separateness and place. And that is just the most phenomenal, beautiful thing that I think I've ever been given by any living thing on the planet. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's profound, and it's big. And I want all of the world to know it's just one more amazing, beautiful thing about Amanita and what it does for us. I support myself with mushroomvoice.com. I make products with this beautiful mushroom and sell them. I have a beautiful community where we talk about all of these things in Zoom, also at mushroomvoice.com. I hope that if you are suffering a loss this year, I hope that if you're letting go of people, places, and things because you have to grow and move on, that Amanita Muscaria helps you the beautiful way that it has me and makes you even more beautiful, which is why I say, I love you, beautiful people.